Hello everyone, Simon from Stampix over here, and welcome to Loyalty Expert Talks. Today I'm very excited to introduce you to Jason Fu. Jason is the CEO of BBD Perfect Storm and brings up to 20 years of experience in marketing, advertising, and brand loyalty to the table. Jason, welcome on this beautiful day, at least over here in Belgium.
Hi, Simon. Very good to meet you and be on the call.
Great. Now, Jason, to get warmed up, I suggest we start right away with the first question, which is to introduce yourself in just 1 minute. Ready when you are.
Great. Well, I'll try and stick to time. So I'm Jason. I'm the founder and CEO of BBD Perfect Storm. BBD Perfect Storm is a brand and cultural transformation company. So we exist to build and grow brands from which the world benefits, and we work with major blue chip companies to help them grow, to transform and disrupt the categories in which they operate. And loyalty is a super important part of that. Our key clients include the likes of Unilever, Etihad, Kraft Heinz, Legal & General, Vitality, and Majid Al Futtaim in the Middle East. And prior to that, I was running another leading agency in the UK that had particularly strong expertise in CRM and digital transformation. Was that about a minute?
That's perfect, perfectly timed, excellent, and very impressive. So Jason, our next question is a little bit personal. We're curious to learn if there is a particular brand or product that you are loyal to yourself in your personal life. And if so, would you say that this is a rational economic choice or one driven by emotions after all?
Sure, and I will, in answering this question, not reach to the obvious answer, which I'm sure you hear a little bit, which is Apple, and of course that is an obvious answer, and is testament to Apple that's the natural one people go to. But no, I'm going to, much as there's many different ones I could call upon, all of them emotionally driven, rather than rationally driven. I'm going to go for Nike. And the reason I say Nike is for three things. Firstly, first and foremost, they create great products. I like to run, and I think they make great products that support me in my running journey, as it were. Second, as a brand, they stand up and support things that I believe in and align to my values. But thirdly, and I think this is the important part, is that they've built a platform and an ecosystem which really knits me and just kind of reinforces why I'm with Nike. So I also am part of Nike Run Club, their digital platform that tracks my running and progress. Logs how many miles I've put into a pair of running shoes, and consequently reminds me when I need to replace them. So it both kind of rewards and engages me and is useful in my life in terms of me loving to run, but equally then kind of naturally introduces ways that I can continue to remain loyal through that process.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, and definitely an example I can relate to, as I love to run myself as well. Now, acknowledging BBD Perfect Storm works for clients like Vitality and Etihad. What do you see as their biggest challenges in terms of customer loyalty today and looking ahead into the future?
Well, of course, those particular clients are incredibly well advised in terms of how they're addressing their loyalty challenges. So it might be easier for me to answer that question from the perspective of actually what do I think some of the bigger challenges are for the loyalty industry in general, and where do I think loyalty marketers should be asking themselves questions as to where the future of loyalty sits. And you alluded to it a moment ago when you talked about kind of rational versus emotional choices. Excuse me. I think my fundamental challenge to the loyalty industry is that far too much of it is actually based on deal loyalty, not real loyalty. And there's this expression in the UK, which is points make prizes. Actually, no, I don't think they do. I think too much of deal loyalty just equals points being about transactions. You're buying someone's loyalty rather than actually making them truly emotionally wedded to your brand. And if all you're doing is buying someone's loyalty, then that means that, frankly, it can be sold to somebody else for a better price.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just trading basically on who's giving you the best deal, rather than a genuine commitment to you as an organization and as a brand. So how do you become emotionally committed, and how do you get real loyalty, I guess, is the question that I think loyalty marketers should be asking themselves.
Yeah, and probably in line with that, like Nike does, thinking beyond their classical product and taking a close look at the needs of the customer and finding a mutual ground there is probably the way to go.
Absolutely.
Talking about those challenges, you last year you wrote an article about the transformation of customer loyalty from a program logic to a platform logic and eventually into an ecosystem mindset. Could you elaborate a bit on that vision?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it's speaking to exactly what you were just saying about more customer focused logic. And I guess it's this notion of how do you evolve your loyalty program, and this deal based loyalty built fundamentally on kind of points, offers, promotions too often, as opposed to platform-based loyalty. Now, platform-based loyalty, I think, is aligned to what's happening in wider marketing and consumer engagement. And there's a fundamental shift, I believe, in business and in brands, from the focus on brand communications and just this notion that you build brand equity, to actually customer experience and the importance of customer experience in driving consumer choices and preference. Now, if you recognize that importance, and you see it in major global companies now, the change in how organizations are structured, that often there's a change from this title of chief marketing officer to chief customer officer. And I believe it's companies recognizing the importance of that shift. And part of that shift then is towards platforms. And platforms are, I guess, the funnel, the central tunnel through which brands can engage with their consumers. And there is a race, I believe, and a fight to own the platforms of the future through which customers will engage. And he who or she who owns the platform ultimately owns the customer. And you can see this on massively disruptive levels with organizations such as Amazon, where they started out as a platform selling books, but through their knowledge, understanding, and ongoing relationship, they've now obviously expanded that into a much wider suite of services and products that they're offering. So, yeah, how can you evolve your program into a platform that makes for a customer-centric interface with your consumers? And if you can do that, if you can orientate everything that your company offers through an effective platform, then you're on the path to engagement and building a sustained and ownable relationship with your consumers. Then ecosystem is about saying, okay, well, if we have a platform for consumer engagement, what other adjacent services and products can we offer that consumer that are truly useful to their lives? And how can we envelop their life in a useful way so that we become the platform of choice and fundamentally the ecosystem of choice in which they live? And you can see as I say, these ecosystems evolving and growing and starting to really take hold. This is why when we talk about loyalty, people are referencing Apple, because Apple has a fantastic ecosystem. And so, you know, a great exemplar of why so many people are naturally loyal to Apple.
Yeah. And then in such an ecosystem, I think offering experiences to people, especially if you're a bank and a telco, is a way to retain customers and strike an emotional chord.
Thank you, brilliantly put. And as you said, kind of building a truly emotional and useful relationship that is aligned to the customer, rather than just trying to buy loyalty.
Great, makes a lot of sense. So Jason, based on your experience from working with these clients across a variety of sectors, which metrics do you think loyalty marketeers should consider or are vital for loyalty programs?
I'm actually very old school, I suppose, in this respect, in that principally I would immediately reach as my most fundamental metrics being RFV and advocacy. So RFV from a point of actually, if a customer is loyal, then I want to be able to understand recency of purchase, frequency of purchase, and the value of purchases that are coming from my customer base. That, first of all, will kind of give me the foundational basis on understanding where my most important customers sit and really how my customers are behaving with me. But of course, the other measure of loyalty is not just who shops most frequently, most often, and most with me, but also who's telling everyone else how great we are. And so the other metric for me is advocacy, and whether that's something like NPS or more specific measures as to how people are actually specifically promoting and telling others. Those are the two things that immediately anchor me to effective loyalty measures. Everything else I think you can build and kind of and broaden from there, but when you've got those two, it's a great starting point.
The metrics that matter, as they say.
Indeed.
Great. So one rather rational, talking about frequency of buying and basket value, and the other a little bit more emotional, which is actually how do you make people feel, and are they giving a positive reference to your brand? Precisely
right, as you say, and kind of a balance of left and right brain, as it were.
Yes, makes sense. Great, exciting times ahead in loyalty, especially in these digital times. And although I feel there's a lot more to uncover, unfortunately, we're already at the end of the interview. But before we check out, there's a final question. Is there a piece of resource besides the blogs available on the website of BBD, Perfect Storm, or someone in the interview, a certain book that we should buy that you would advise us to read and to be more informed about loyalty?
Gosh, there's so many things that I would love to point everyone to, but respecting everyone's time and focus, I think one area that's interesting to look at actually is Sham Shah and Loyalty Juggernaut International, in terms of just I think they're doing some quite interesting things in the loyalty platform space in terms of the kind of opportunities they're creating. And indeed, maybe he's the CEO of Loyalty Juggernaut, LGI, is something that might be interesting for you to speak to.
Great. Thanks a lot, Jason. It's been a pleasure. And I suggest we stay in touch, and we'll look forward to sharing content of you and BBD on through LinkedIn. So have a nice day.
Absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.